Hey guys, Tim Glaze here from Star Local Media Sports. This is Brian Murphy. He covers both Prosper and Little Elm. As it has it, those two are playing this week to open District 14 5A play. That is the Star Local Media Gridiron Game of the Week. Got about 75% of the votes. Everyone wants to see these two teams. So Brian will be out there to cover the game on Friday at Prosper Eagle Stadium. Brian, you've been covering these two teams for a couple of years now. Little Elm, they're a little different than they were last year. A little more confidence heading into this game than last year.
Sure.
And then Prosper, on the other hand, they've kind of been the main dogs in 14-5A. Yeah. So how do you see this game turning out? I guess let's start with Little Elm.
Well, last year I was at the game. It was a 35-7 blowout by Prosper, but it's different this year. Little Elm, I talked to head coach Kendrick Brown earlier this week. He said, last year with going into that game, they weren't maybe prepared fully for a team like Prosper, and he said they kind of went in there lacking a little confidence. He admitted that. But he said, he told me earlier this week, this year it's completely different. They know. They don't think they know they can go in there and beat Prosper in their house. They have the players, the talent, the personnel, and you know what? We'll see Friday night if they can get that done.
And the cool thing especially for a team like Little Elm, second year in a row they started 3-0 after non-district play.
Little Elm did not start 3-0 last year.
They didn't last year. Okay,
this is the first time they're 3-0 in 10 years.
Okay, and so going against a team as good as Prosper at the beginning of the year, there's kind of some payoffs if they win, because then the rest of the season, maybe a little easier for them to make the playoffs if they win this opening game.
Oh, for sure. There's a big advantage of getting, that Prosper game out of the way. Even if you lose, like I said, you still have it out of the way. You get a chance to play Creekview, and I believe it's Arl Turner followed up right after that. So that should be 2 wins to bounce back. So it won't be the end of the world if Little Elm loses. But I think it's a huge advantage of getting that game out of the way versus having to play Prosper, the second to last week or final week of the year after there's already been kind of some banged up injuries and whatnot.
And I know Coach Brown also said that he expects there to be a really big battle in the trenches in this game. Yeah. Do you like Little Elm's offensive and defensive line going against Prosper?
I love Little Elm's offensive line, but I also love Prosper's defensive line. It's big boys up front there, but Little Elm's real strength is that offensive line. They're returning starters. All 4 of them are returning starters from last year. Very experienced. They're going to run the ball a lot. Coach Brown told me they're going to try and control the clock, the line of scrimmage to keep Prosper's offense off of the field. Last year when they played, Prosper scored 28 points before you blinked an eye, and they didn't do anything after that. They went into the locker room 28-0, and they got punched in the mouth, and Little Elm didn't know how to respond. The second half, I believe the score was 7-7 in the second half, so they lost 35-7. So weathering that storm at the beginning will be huge for Little Elm in this game Friday night.
Do you think Prosper, even though they won big last year, do you think they know what they're facing in Little Elm this year?
I think they do, but they don't, because everyone knows about Prosper. They're the poster child of District 14 5A right now in almost every sport, especially football. But I don't think they quite know that Little Elm is here to stay so far in 2017. Yeah, they've played some easier matchups, but look what they've done to those teams. They've beaten them by 50-plus points. Irving and Brian Adams, W.T. White, hadn't even been close. Last year, in those same games, Little Elm wasn't really beating teams like that. These kind of subpar teams, but this year they're dominating those teams. They're a totally different team this year in 2017.
Let's take a quick look at Prosper too before we go. Still a dynamic on offense as they were last year. Sure. What do you think about Prosper going into this game?
When I saw them play Lake Ridge, they couldn't really throw the ball like they wanted to, but they were able to run the ball. They have lots of running backs they use. The 2 main ones are Wayne Anderson and Caleb Adams. They used Caleb Adams a lot last year. He's leading the team so far in rushing. It looks like Keegan Shoemaker is the main quarterback right now. They used Matt Bramer quite a bit in last week's big blowout win over Liberty. He had over 100 yards, 2 touchdowns. So they used a pair of quarterbacks. Who knows? They may use them both against Little Elm, but I'd expect Shoemaker to start and you get most of the snaps if they decide to go that route. Who knows if in a closer contest like it may be Friday night. So their offense is still explosive. They don't have the deep threat like they did last year. Everett Jefferson was their deep threat. He was good for a 60-yard touchdown at each game. He's off at playing at Texas State this year. They don't have that, so maybe that long ball really isn't a factor in a dynamic that opposing teams like Little Elm have to worry about this year.
And we're kind of split up here in the office on this game. Brian, you can give me a score if you want or not, but who do you think is going to win this game?
I'm going with Little Elm. I think they're going to surprise some folks this year. A score, I'll let you tell me I think you're picking Little Elm, correct?
Yeah, you and I are definitely on the Little Elm train this year. I think that they're the third best team in the district, possibly the second best team, depending on how they look against the Colony this year. So I'm going to say Little Elm wins. I'm going to say a close game, something like 28-21.
Okay, I'm going to go 34-28. It's gonna come down to the wire, but I think Little Elm, if they can weather the storm early, I think they can go battle down the stretch and take them on.
You as the fans wanted this game. Again, this game got 75% of the vote out of all of our chosen games that we threw up on the website. Brian will be out there. Again, it's 7 o'clock Friday at Prosper Eagles Stadium, Little Elm versus Prosper.
And if you can't make it to the game, check out my Twitter at @BrianMurphy_. I'll be live tweeting just about everything. So Little Elm, Prosper, all you folks, check that out if y'all can't make it to the game.
And this is the District 14 5A opener, so lots more football ahead. Again, I'm Tim. This is Brian. Thanks, guys, for paying attention. See you later.